Hello, you're watching News 9 Live. Our top story at this hour is about Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar facing an uproar over his crass remarks on women and population control in the State Assembly. Nitish Kumar has now issued a formal apology. He said that he was sorry for the statement and takes back his words.
अगर महिलाओं को पढ़ा दिया जाएगा, और आप जानते हैं तब हमने पूरे बिहार में क्या शुरू किया, इंटर तक की पढ़ाई के लिए और सब तरह से किया, और कल भी हम बता दिए कितना ज्यादा रुपया हम लोगों ने तय करके और हर जगह पढ़ाई के लिए शुरू करा दिया। तो हमने तो यही कहा है, हम पे महिलाओं के उत्थान के लिए और उसके लिए ही प्रजनन दर घटता है। लेकिन मेरे मन से अगर कोई शब्द बात आ गई कि पुरुष और स्त्री दोनों जो लड़का लड़की रात में सोने की बात है, तो मैं माफी मांगता हूं उसके लिए। मैं इसके लिए मैंने वापिस करता हूं इन सब बातों का। अगर इसको हमने यूं ही कुछ बात कहा और उसको लेकर के इतनी निंदा हो रही है, तो मैं भाई देखिए, अगर मेरी कोई बात कहना गलत था तो मैं इसके लिए माफी मांगता हूं। इसको हम वापिस करते हैं, और अगर मेरे किसी बात से कोई इसकी निंदा कर रहा है तो भाई हम वापिस करके और निंदा हम अपने कर लेते हैं, माफी मांगते हैं। और अगर कोई मेरी निंदा करता रहता है और कोई भी बात करता है, उसको लगता है कि बड़ा गलत था, तो मैं उनका अभिनंदन करता हूं।
On Tuesday, while addressing the assembly, Nitish Kumar kicked up a row after he made a graphic description of how educated women can restrain their husbands during a sexual intercourse. He was meaning to highlight the role of women in population control, but his crass comments drew immediate condemnation. Several political parties termed his comments as misogynistic, vulgar, and even patriarchal.
पूरी चीज है तो जो हम लोगों ने कहा कि अगर पढ़ लेगी लड़की और वो जब शादी होगा लड़का लड़की में, तो जो पुरुष है वो तो रोज रात में जो सदिया होता है उसके साथ करता है ना, तो उसी में और पैदा हो जाता है। और लड़की पढ़ लेती है तो हमको मालूम था कि वो करेगा, ठीक है, लेकिन अंतिम में भीतर मत घुसाओ, उसको बाहर कर दो। करता तो है, तो उसी में आप समझ लीजिए संख्या घट रही है।
Chief of National Commission for Women Rekha Sharma called it a C-grade movie dialogue and said that a mere apology isn't enough.
Yesterday's statement of Chief Minister of Bihar was very derogatory. We are deeply concerned with this. NCW, on behalf of every woman of the country, is deeply concerned that the way he spoke was like a C-grade movie dialogue in the assembly, in front of women in the assembly, in front of everyone. And the worst was men sitting behind, they were also laughing. That was worst. So, मुझे लगता है कि कोई भी कंसर्न नहीं था कि वो कह क्या रहे हैं। अगर उनको नॉलेज देनी थी तो बहुत सारे तरीके हैं जिस तरीके से वो नॉलेज दे सकते हैं। एक्शंस और वर्ड्स दोनों ही बहुत भद्दे थे और एक भद्दे मजाक की तरह थे। पूरी महिलाओं को उससे शर्म आई और वो सुन नहीं सकती हैं। वर्स्ट इज स्पीकर ने अभी तक एक्सपंज नहीं किए हैं उनके, और आज भी वो मीडिया में दिखाए जा रहे हैं, बार बार रिपीट हो रहे हैं उनके डायलॉग्स। मुझे पता चला है, अभी मैंने देखा कि उन्होंने मीडिया के सामने एक छोटे ग्रुप के सामने माफी मांगी, वो भी इतनी सब बात होने के बाद। केवल माफी मांगना एक उसका उपाय नहीं है। स्पीकर को, बिहार असेंबली स्पीकर को उनके अगेंस्ट एक स्टेप लेना चाहिए, एक्सपंज करने चाहिए उनके डायलॉग। हमें मालूम है कि एक कौरवों ने जब द्रौपदी को भरी सभा में एक बार बेइज्जत किया था तो उसका क्या रिजल्ट था। वो एक पहला कदम था उनकी पूरी कौरवों की जो सत्ता थी वो खत्म होने का। तो मुझे लगता है ये बिहार में पहला एक स्टेप है जो जिस तरह का उन्होंने ये गंदी अभद्र स्टेटमेंट दी है असेंबली में, उनका भी नाश निश्चित है।
Meanwhile, AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi also said that Kumar should withdraw his statement and demanded an apology from the Bihar CM.
नहीं, देखिए, विधानसभा जो होती है एक बड़ी सेक्रेट जगह होती है। वो एक आम रोड पर बैठकर या किसी घर की चार दीवार में बैठकर गुफ्तगू करने की जगह नहीं है। वो उसका एक मुकाम होता है, उसका एक इकबाल होता है। और वो एक प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री हैं, वजीर आला हैं, और वहां पर वो इस तरीके से, जिस तरीके से उन्होंने कहा है, बिल्कुल ही एक वल्गर किस्म की लैंग्वेज थी। उसको वो कह सकते थे कि जब जितनी महिला ज्यादा पढ़ेंगी वो अपनी औलाद को कब पैदा करना वो वक्त तय करेंगे, मगर बजाय उसके इस तरह से बिल्कुल ही एक वल्गर तरीके से उन्होंने जिस तरीके से उसको डिस्क्राइब किया है अपने एक्शन से, अपने अल्फाज से, ये बिल्कुल ही सही नहीं है। भाई, कम से कम आप इस बात का तो लिहाज रखिए कि आप कहां पर खड़े होकर बोल रहे हैं। वो बिहार की विधानसभा है, वो कोई सिनेमा थिएटर नहीं है कि लोग वहां पर कोई पिक्चर देखने आ रहे जिसमें सर्टिफिकेट अडल्ट दिया गया है। ये कोई रोड पर आप नहीं बैठे थे। ये तो समझना चाहिए, जब वो मुख्यमंत्री हैं और इस तरह से अगर वो बता रहे हैं, तो फिर जो जिस तरीके से हमारे पास पुरुष हैं जो महिलाओं पे जुल्म करते हैं, आप तो उनको ये पैगाम दे रहे हैं। इस बात का क्या मैसेज दे रहे हैं आप? भाई, आप कुछ भी, आप जो भी आप बोलेंगे या प्रोग्राम करेंगे, मकसद तो ये होता ना कि भाई महिलाओं को ताकतवर बनाया जाए, उनको शिक्षा मिले, उनको समाज में और उनको ताकतवर हो, मुकाम मिले। मगर बहुत ही गलत तरीके से उन्होंने उस चीज को बयान किया है। मैं तो डिमांड करता हूं कि नीतीश कुमार विधानसभा में अपने उस अल्फाज को वापस लें, और ये बहुत ही गलत मैसेज बिहार के महिलाओं को, देश के महिलाओं को नीतीश कुमार ने दिया है।
BJP leader Sushil Modi has also demanded Nitish Kumar's resignation.
देखिए, उन्होंने माफी तो भले ही मांग लिया, लेकिन पूरा बिहार शर्मसार हुआ है। और एक मुख्यमंत्री को भी, नीतीश कुमार जैसे व्यक्ति को इतनी हिम्मत कैसे हुई कि महिलाओं के बारे में इतनी अश्लील, अभद्र, अपमानजनक, सेक्सिस्ट और जिसको कहते हैं कि बी ग्रेड की टिप्पणी करने का उनको साहस कैसे हुआ। और वो केवल एक बार उन्होंने टिप्पणी नहीं की, पहले विधानसभा में भाषण में कहा उन्होंने, और फिर विधान परिषद में कहा। तो आज तक मैंने कभी नहीं देखा था कि मुख्यमंत्री नीतीश कुमार इस प्रकार की भी टिप्पणी करते हों। मुझे लग रहा है या तो उनके ऊपर उम्र का असर हो रहा है, और जिस तरह की अश्लील अभद्र टिप्पणी की है तो केवल माफी मांगने से काम नहीं चलेगा। उनको पूरे देश की जो महिलाएं हैं उनके सामने हाथ जोड़कर और ये कहना चाहिए कि उन्होंने बहुत बड़ी गलती की और आगे से कभी जिंदगी में इस प्रकार की गलती नहीं करेंगे। नहीं, देखिए, तो बहुत ही मूर्खतापूर्ण बयान है। ये क्या विधानसभा और विधान परिषद सेक्स एजुकेशन की जगह है क्या? और वहां पर क्या सेक्स एजुकेशन की क्लास चल रही थी क्या? और आपने जो विषय रखा उसका क्या संबंध था कास्ट सर्वे से, बाकी चीजों से? और ये कोई पहली बार उन्होंने टिप्पणी ही की है। कुछ दिन पूर्व भी इसी प्रकार का उनका भाषण हुआ था। तो मुझे लगता है कि अब ये मुख्यमंत्री के पद पर बने रहने लायक नहीं है। अब मुख्यमंत्री को इस्तीफा दे देना चाहिए और किसी अति पिछड़े को मुख्यमंत्री घोषित कर और उनको कोई और काम करना चाहिए।
Opposition leaders also staged a protest inside the state assembly against Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar. Moving on, the Jammu and Kashmir State Investigation Agency is conducting raids at several places in New Delhi as well as Srinagar, Anantnag and Pulwama districts of Kashmir. The raids are being carried out in connection with a terror funding case in which a top businessman is likely to be under the scanner. And now to a very important story which concerns everybody, particularly those living in Delhi and NCR region. The air quality in the capital continues to remain in the severe category according to the Central Pollution Control Board. The city's overall air quality index was recorded at 418 at 6 a.m. today according to data collected from the Central Pollution Control Board. Several air monitoring stations including Anantnag, Dwarka, Shadipur, Mandir Marg, ITO, RK Puram, Punjabi Bagh, North Campus, Mathura Road, Rohini, Patparganj, Okla, India Gate, Mundaka recorded an AQI above 400. In the national capital region, Greater Noida was the most polluted with an AQI of 474. The fact of the matter is that the entire Gangetic belt is facing heavy pollution. Even the Taj Mahal is covered in a blanket of smog. The wonder of a world that is the Taj Mahal, and a very, very great attraction for global tourists, is very visible if you see it from a distance. Meanwhile, physical classes up to class 9 remain suspended in Noida in the NCR region until 10th of November on account of poor air quality. The Graded Response Action Plan Stage 4 has already been implemented in Delhi NCR. Meanwhile, the Delhi government will consider the Supreme Court's directives while making a decision on the odd-even car rationing system. And in some other stories, the Supreme Court directed the Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh and Delhi governments to stop crop burning forthwith. It made the local SHO responsible for implementing the direction under the supervision of DGP and the Chief Secretary. The court ordered for holding of a meeting of all the stakeholders on Wednesday as it fixed considering taking up the matter on Friday. News coming in from Manipur, at least 9 persons, including 2 Manipur police personnel and a woman, sustained bullet injuries after unidentified men fired on them at Kangchup foothills in Kangpokpi district adjoining Imphal in the West District. Alarmed over the presence of 5 unknown persons from a different community who had strayed into Meitei area, a large group of people, including women from Phayeng, went to Kangchup hillside to find out all about them. However, as soon as they reached, suspected militants from the hill began firing at them. Later, village volunteers and security forces rushed to the spot, leading to heavy exchange of fire. Meanwhile, 4 persons who had strayed into the Meitei area are missing, while one has been found by security forces in a critical condition. Security personnel are conducting operations to trace the 4 missing persons. Meanwhile, tension continues to grip Imphal Valley after 2 teenagers went missing on Sunday afternoon from Sekma area near Kangpokpi district. Police have recovered the phones of the missing teens wrapped in a black polythene packet from an oil pump in Senapati district. Some political news amid speculation regarding cracks in the India bloc. Congress General Secretary K.C. Venugopal said that it's not a one-party coalition. Venugopal added that the alliance is trying to resolve all differences because they have a broader interest in mind.
I am seeing all this in a positive way. Ours is not a single party alliance. 27, 28 parties are there in this alliance. Every party has their own views, their own strengths and weaknesses. When an alliance forming, give and take policy from each party is needed. Being a part of it, Congress has to do with that also. We are agree. I am totally aware of the concerns raised by the India party leaders. What they are telling is reflecting their concern on India alliance. That is a positive note, brother, not a negative note. They are wishing India alliance should be stronger, there should be a clear-cut coordination. These are all things everybody is wishing. Therefore, you are on the same way. You have to understand that whenever 26, 27 parties are joining together, there may be differences also.
Sure.
In single party also differences are there nowadays. Then you think about 26, 27 parties joining together, there may be differences. We are trying to solve these issues, small issues, through dialogues and meetings. It will happen like that. Why? Because we have a broader interest. Our interest, entire political party had in one point to remove this anti-democratic dictatorship government of India. The way in which this union government is targeting opposition parties, the way in which they are dividing the people of India on communal line, the way in which they are using the entire agencies, ED, CBI, income tax, against the political parties for winning the election. This is quite extraordinary. Therefore, everybody feels that this era of government is to continue, then there will be no democracy in this country. Therefore, it is a high time to join everybody and to fight against these people. This broader interest is there in every political party's mindset. Therefore, we are very sure that this alliance will work very strongly. Small shorter issue will be there either and there. We will take care all of this issue. We will try to speak dialogues and conversation. Through that, we will solve all this problem.
In Chhattisgarh, the Mahadev betting scam has become the key election issue after the Prime Minister called it a sign of Congress's greed. Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel has hit back and asked why the central government was not arresting the main culprit.
एक तरफ भाजपा का संकल्प पत्र है तो दूसरी तरफ कांग्रेस का झूठ का कारोबार। आप सभी को कांग्रेस ने विश्वासघात के सिवाय कुछ नहीं दिया है। कांग्रेस ने छत्तीसगढ़ के युवाओं को क्या क्या सपने दिखाए थे और दिया क्या? उन्होंने महादेव के नाम पर भी घोटाला कर दिया। महादेव के नाम पर महादेव सट्टेबाजी घोटाले की चर्चा आज देश और विदेश में हो रही है। कांग्रेस ने अपनी तिजोरी भरने के लिए आपके बच्चों से सट्टेबाजी करवाई है। क्या इनको माफ करेंगे क्या आप? आपके बच्चों को बर्बाद करने वाला काम ऐसे लोगों को माफ करोगे आप? और ये सब किसके इशारे पर हुआ? किसके इशारे पर हुआ? किसके इशारे पर हुआ? उनको सजा मिलनी चाहिए कि नहीं मिलनी चाहिए? पहले सजा आप दोगे कि नहीं दोगे? कमल के निशान पर बटन दबा करके कड़ी से कड़ी सजा ऐसे लोगों को करनी है भाइयों। मुख्यमंत्री कार्यालय यहां सट्टेबाजों का अड्डा कैसे बना हुआ था? और ये कक्का आपका, सब लोग तो कहते हैं 30% कक्का, 30% कक्का, खुलेआम सट्टा।
जिसके पास पैसा पकड़ा गया वो रमन सिंह के साथ उसका फोटो है, उसके पार्षद है, उसके बड़े करीबी हैं, भाजपा कार्यकर्ता, उसके यहाँ पकड़ा गया। और भाजपा जो नेता है उसके रिश्तेदार की गाड़ी है ना। और दूसरी बात यह है कि जो परसों तक के कोई नहीं जानता था, क्या नाम है उसका, शुभम, वो अचानक पूरे महादेव का मालिक बन गया। उसके पहले ईडी खुद उसको अधिकारी बता रहे थे एक दिन पहले, अब वो मालिक बन गया। और ऐसा मालिक गजब का है भाई, जो अपने नौकर की शादी में 250 करोड़ रुपया खर्चा करता है। मैं तो दुनिया में ये पहली उदाहरण होगा। तो ये एक्चुअल में है क्या कि ये रमन सिंह के साथ जो 2 अधिकारी और रहते थे ना, ये इसी प्रकार की स्टोरी बना देते थे। वही स्टोरी अभी दिखाई दे रहा है। तो ये पूरा प्लांटेड है। इसका मतलब है भारतीय जनता पार्टी हार मान चुकी है। ये उनका आखिरी अस्त्र था कि इसको उन्होंने चलाया। अब ये फुसफुसिया बम साबित हुआ, कोई इसको मान नहीं रहा है, कोई सुन नहीं रहा है, और जो भी देखा है वो बोले ये तो प्लांटेड है। तो मैंने कल भी कहा था, मजा लीजिए 17 तारीख।
Following content may contain visuals that are disturbing, graphic, or sensitive in nature. Viewer discretion is advised. This material is intended for mature audiences and may not be suitable for all viewers. Please exercise caution while watching, and if you find such content distressing, we recommend discontinuing viewing. This disclaimer is provided to ensure awareness and to prioritize viewer well-being.
It's been over a month since Hamas initiated a deadly war against southern Israel, resulting in the deaths of about 1,400 people and the abduction of over 220 Israeli individuals as hostages. Let's take you through the latest updates on day 33. Israeli forces are in the center of Gaza City and are said to be striking Hamas tunnels. Neither Hamas nor Israel would control. Netanyahu says no ceasefire till hostages are freed. At least 10,328 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza so far. Around 70% of Gazans have fled their homes, according to a report. The Israel Defense Forces have tragically lost Sergeant First Class Yaakov Ozeri from the 401st Armored Brigade in a fight against Hamas terrorists in northern Gaza Strip. Ozeri, who was 28 years old, hailed from Kfar Shammai in northern Israel. His death marks the 31st soldier to be killed since Israel launched a ground invasion in response to Hamas attacks on 7th of October. The IDF paratroopers brigade operating in northern Gaza have uncovered an underground terror tunnel near an amusement park and another one near a university. Additionally, a weapon warehouse was also discovered near the university. The warehouse contained chemical materials, RPGs, claymore mines, and lots of other things. Moving on, Israeli Defense Minister Gallant confirmed that Israeli forces are operating deep within Gaza City, which is Hamas's stronghold. He emphasized that Israel has no intention of ruling Gaza after the war, nor does Hamas. Gallant also warned Hezbollah's leader Hassan Nasrallah against attacking Israel, stating it would be a mistake. About Gaza's future governance, he stated that neither Hamas nor Israel would govern, leaving other possibilities open. Israel continues to urge Palestinian civilians to move to the south of Gaza for their safety.
IDF forces are located in the heart of Gaza City. They came from north and south. They attacked in complete coordination between the ground forces, air and the sea forces.
Satellite images reveal aid trucks lining up at Egypt's Rafah border crossing with Gaza, where severe shortages of food, medicine and fuel persist. Evacuations were halted after an Israeli strike on an ambulance. Egypt is urging increased aid and fuel flow, ensuring ambulance security. Images also capture people walking south from Gaza City along Sal al-Din Road and fires burning in the vicinity, indicating the ongoing crisis. Staying on Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has indicated that he may be willing to consider pauses in fighting in the Gaza Strip, either for aid or the exit of hostages, but again ruled out a ceasefire for now despite international pressure. Take a look at this report.
Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu on Monday seemed willing to consider pauses in fighting in the Gaza Strip, either for aid or the exit of hostages, but again ruled out a ceasefire for now, despite international pressure. Netanyahu was speaking with ABC News.
I know the Biden administration has also said now is not the time for a ceasefire. What they're proposing is a humanitarian pause. There will be no pause?
Well, there will be no ceasefire, general ceasefire in Gaza without the release of our hostages. As far as tactical little pauses, an hour here, an hour there, we've had them before. I suppose we'll check the circumstances in order to enable goods, humanitarian goods to come in, or our hostages, individual hostages to leave. But I don't think there's going to be a general ceasefire. It's not that I don't think. I think it will hamper the war effort. It'll hamper our effort to get our hostages out, because the only thing that works on these criminals in Hamas is the military pressure that we're exerting.
Blasts and flares lit up the sky over Gaza early Tuesday morning. It's now been more than 1 month since the Hamas raid on southern Israel, when militants killed 1,400 people and seized 240 hostages. Israel has bombarded the area since then. Gaza health officials say it has killed more than 10,000 Palestinians, including some 4,100 children. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned on Monday that Gaza is becoming a, quote, graveyard for children, calling for an urgent ceasefire. However, both sides have resisted international pressure to do so. Israel says hostages should be released first, while Hamas says it will not free them or stop fighting while Gaza is under assault. On Monday, the White House said U.S. President Joe Biden had discussed, quote, pauses and possible hostage releases in a phone call with Netanyahu, reiterating his support for Israel while emphasizing that it must protect civilians. Like Israel, the U.S. fears Hamas would take advantage of a full ceasefire to regroup. On Monday, Netanyahu was also asked about what happens when the conflict is over.
President Biden has said that it would be a mistake for Israel to occupy Gaza. Who should govern Gaza when this is over?
Those who don't want to continue the way of Hamas. It certainly is not. I think Israel will, for an indefinite period, will have the overall security responsibility, because we've seen what happens when we don't have it. When we don't have that security responsibility, what we have is the eruption of Hamas terror on a scale that we couldn't imagine.
International organizations have said hospitals like this one in Gaza City cannot cope with the wounded, and that food and clean water are running out, with aid deliveries nowhere near enough.
White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby has confirmed that more Americans are set to leave Gaza. He emphasized that the United States opposes any Israeli military reoccupation of Gaza in a post-war scenario. Kirby also underlined that despite differences, Israel and the United States remain friends.
As you all saw yesterday, the President spoke with Prime Minister Netanyahu, and he certainly discussed the need to continue to try to accelerate and increase the amount of humanitarian assistance that's going in. He also talked about the importance of pauses in the fighting to allow for aid to get in, people to get out, and for hostages to be released. We'll keep that dialogue going, obviously, with the Prime Minister and his war cabinet. On the idea of people getting out, so we do expect more individuals to depart Gaza today via the Rafah crossing. To date, there's been over 400 U.S. citizens and their families who have been able to depart and have been seeking the assistance of our consular team at the embassy in Cairo. And in just the last 24 hours, about 96, so just under 100 U.S. citizens and family members were able to move across that border. And as I said, it's very fluid. We won't get the final count until the end of the day today, because the day is still going on. But we do expect that there'll be more Americans to come out today.
The IDF released some of the weapons found on Hamas's terrorists on 7th of October. 1,493 hand grenades and explosives, 760 RPGs, 427 explosive belts, 375 firearms, 106 rockets and missiles. There are just a few of the weapons used to massacre over 1,400 Israeli civilians. 1,493 hand grenades and explosives, like I said earlier, 760 RPGs, 427 explosive belts, 375 firearms, 106 rockets and missiles were found. In Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, Israelis marked 1 month since the attacks by Hamas militants. They held demonstrations and also candlelight vigil in memory of the victims and hostages. Many protesters in Jerusalem expressed deep frustration with the government's response to the traumatic events. In Tel Aviv, people lit candles at a makeshift memorial. G7 foreign ministers on Wednesday started the first of this week's meetings in Tokyo, where they were expected to discuss issues including Russia's war in Ukraine and the Israel-Gaza crisis. The G7 includes wealthy nations like Britain, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan and the United States, along with the European Union. The foreign ministers were due to hold virtual talks with Ukraine's foreign minister, Dmytro Kuleba, as well. China has become the biggest debt collector, according to a recent report that revealed that the country is owed more than $1 trillion through its Belt and Road project. It is estimated that 80% of these loans are supporting countries who are facing financial distress. According to Beijing, over 150 countries have signed up for the Belt and Road initiative, including Uruguay, Sri Lanka, Switzerland, the Philippines, Pakistan, as well as India. The BRI was unveiled by President Xi Jinping a decade ago in a vast global infrastructure push, with China distributing huge loans to fund the construction of highways, bridges and ports to low and middle income countries during the period. More than half of these loans have now entered their principal repayment period, a recent research report reveals. Interestingly, the report also reveals that China has financed over 21,000 projects across 165 countries, and its aid and credit is around $80 billion annually to low and middle income countries. The United States aid to such countries trails at $60 billion a year. European astronomers unveiled the initial images from the newly launched Euclid Space Telescope. It's crafted to uncover the mysteries of dark matter as well as dark energy, which are believed to constitute a vast 95% of the universe. Take a look at this report.
These are the first images taken from the newly launched Euclid Space Telescope, a telescope that can monitor billions of galaxies up to 10 billion light-years away and is designed to unlock the secrets of dark matter and dark energy. The European Space Agency says these pictures of a nearby universe 240 million light-years away are the sharpest of their kind. The ESA is leading Euclid's 6-year mission with partner NASA. Here's their Director of Science, Carol Mundell.
It's going to survey 36% of the sky, which is the entire extragalactic sky, back to 10 billion years of cosmic history. It's got incredible precision for measuring the shapes of galaxies, so we understand the optics very well.
Euclid will now start to piece together a cosmic 3D map, seen here in this animation. Through it, scientists are hoping to better grasp the formation and distribution of galaxies across the universe, which in turn will help them get new insights into dark matter and dark energy, hidden forces thought to make up 95% of the universe.
There's just so much rich science and physics to be extracted from these images. And of course, the colors themselves tell us something about the physics encoded in the light too. So we've got lots of codes to decode as we work through this.
Although the mission is designed to last 6 years, ESA hopes Euclid has another 6 months of propellant to keep it in solar orbit some 930,000 miles away from Earth.
Elon Musk's X is officially entering the generative AI race, with X's first AI chatbot named Grok, now in limited testing with a view to a wider launch in the near future among X Premium Plus subscribers. The main variation of Elon's AI system is that it's, in Musk's own words, intended to be anti-woke, with less censorship of potentially sensitive topics. Take a look.
Elon Musk is just back from an AI summit in the UK. There he talked to British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak about the dangers posed by the tech.
I'm saying this is something we should be quite concerned about, because if the robot can follow you anywhere, then, what if they just one day get a software update and they're not so friendly anymore? Then we've got a James Cameron movie on our hands.
Worries about Terminators aren't stopping him pressing ahead with his own AI plans, however. On Sunday, the billionaire said he would integrate his XAI startup into X, the social network formerly known as Twitter, which he bought last year. Musk launched XAI in July as a rival to Google's Bard and Microsoft's Bing AI. He says it is a maximum truth-seeking model, which will try to understand the nature of the universe. Musk says XAI has also launched its first bot, dubbed Grok. It's been available to all Premium Plus subscribers on X since Friday, and is meant to answer queries with a little wit. Musk says Grok has real-time access to information via the X platform, giving it a big advantage over rivals. X remains separate from XAI, but the two work closely together.
Over 1,000 Amazon workers in Coventry, England have struck work over pay. The dispute, ongoing since January, reflects wider UK industrial unrest amid high inflation. Amazon raised minimum starting pay, but unions seek better conditions. Take a look.
What do we want? When do we want it? Now! More than 1,000 Amazon workers went on strike again at a central England warehouse on Tuesday over a long-running pay dispute. That's according to the GMB trade union. This latest action comes at the end of a year that's seen wider industrial unrest in the UK. Employees have demanded better wage rises to deal with high inflation. The Amazon workers, based in the city of Coventry, also planned to strike on Wednesday and Thursday. And they aim to take action November the 24th, which is Black Friday, a key date in Amazon's calendar. The workers first went on strike in January. In a statement, Amazon said it offers both competitive pay and comprehensive benefits. The US retail giant, which employs 75,000 in the UK, said that from last month, minimum starting pay would rise by at least £1 an hour. Depending on location, this could be an hourly rate of just over $15.30. The retail giant said pay is due to further increase next April, with both boosts collectively costing $209 million.
Abortion shall once again be on the ballot on Tuesday as Ohio residents vote on whether to guarantee abortion rights, and Virginia voters decide whether to give Republicans the power to impose new limits on the procedure. Take a look at this report.
With a yes vote on Issue 1, Ohio would enshrine abortion rights in the state's constitution. That is just one measure voters around the U.S. were considering on Tuesday. Supporters of abortion rights have won all 6 ballot initiatives contested in states around the country since the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade last year, eliminating a nationwide right to the procedure. Abortion is not on the ballot in Virginia, where every seat in the state legislature is up for grabs. But Democrats have sought to make it the top issue there, warning that a Republican victory would lead to a ban. Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin has said he will pursue a 15-week abortion limit if Republicans take control of the legislature, a move he has characterized as a reasonable compromise that could offer a blueprint for Republicans in 2024. Reuters reporter Joey Axe is covering the elections.
In particular, for the anti-abortion side, they've had a losing streak since the end of Roe, and I think in advancing a 15-week limit in Virginia and in portraying the Ohio amendment as too extreme, they're testing out messages that they would like to use in 24. when the presidential race is obviously on the ballot, when control of Congress is on the ballot. They want to see if those messages can at least defang the potency of abortion as an issue, so that the electorate can kind of focus on other issues that they feel are more advantageous to them.
In Kentucky, voters are considering whether to keep Democrat Andy Beshear as the state's governor. He is very popular, but the electorate is very Republican.
He's widely credited with helping to shepherd the state through the pandemic, through a series of really horrific natural disasters. The state economy has been pretty good. And so he's positioned about as well as you can be positioned as a Democratic governor in a deeply conservative state. He's running against Daniel Cameron, who's the state attorney general, and would be the first Black governor of Kentucky. And so most people expect that to be a pretty close race, but I think the odds seem to be favoring Beshear, at least based on the polling that we've seen.
In Mississippi, Republican incumbent Governor Tate Reeves is fighting off a challenge from a Democrat with a famous last name and fundraising prowess, Brandon Presley. The second cousin of Elvis is a former mayor who has raised more money than his opponent, but faces a tough fight in a state that voted for President Trump over Democratic President Joe Biden by more than 16 percentage points in 2020.
The Hollywood Actors Union, SAG-AFTRA, and major studios are still negotiating after 4 months of strikes. The union demands fair compensation in the streaming era and protections on AI use. Talks continue to resolve the issues, including concerns about actors' digital likenesses without permission. Take a look.
Netflix on Monday told Reuters talks with striking Hollywood actors were ongoing after their union rejected the latest offering from the major studios. Netflix's co-chief executive, Ted Sarandos.
They're ongoing. We're at the table all day, every day, and we are trying to get this strike resolved and get the town back to work.
The Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, which represents Netflix, Walt Disney and other companies, presented what the studios called their last, best and final offer on Saturday. The SAG-AFTRA union on Monday said in a statement the two sides had yet to reach an agreement on several items, including the use of artificial intelligence. It added that it was determined to secure the right deal and bring a responsible end to a strike that has gone on for 4 months now. Hollywood actors walked off the job in July to demand higher compensation in the streaming TV era, as well as protections around the use of AI and other gains. Actors are seeking assurances that their digital likenesses will not be used without their permission.
Nintendo on Tuesday raised its operating profit forecast for the financial year ending March by 11% to 500 billion yen, which is $3.32 billion, as heavy-hitting franchises continue to attract gamers to its aging Switch console. Take a look.
Nintendo had good news for investors on Tuesday. The Japanese gaming giant raised its operating profit forecast for the financial year to March by 11%. Big-name games have proven so popular that Nintendo now projects it will make $3.32 billion in profit. Gamers have flocked to the aging Switch console this year. Nintendo sold 6.84 million units in the first half of the financial year, slightly up from last year. It's largely thanks to critically acclaimed games like The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. That heroic tale of Princess Zelda and the swordsman Link went on sale in May. Nintendo said it had sold 19.5 million copies as of the end of September, while another major title, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, launched last month. Nintendo's broad pop culture appeal was also helped by the success of a Super Mario movie. The game maker kept its full-year forecast for the Switch of 15 million units, though that would be a 16.5% decline on a year earlier.
And that's all we have in this bulletin. For all the news and analysis, keep watching News 9 Live.